All right. Welcome back to Total Line. We got my guy Drew Anderson in the building today. Um, man, yeah. So me and Drew used to play against each other in high school a little bit. I think he beat up on us one year pretty bad, but yeah, man, he's a hell of a dude. He's at Bryant right now, coaching the quarterbacks. Got some NFL experience, so I thought it'd be good to bring him on so he could talk about kind of his background, what made him get into coaching, and everything that led him to where he's at now. So, all right, man, if you want to get us started off, talk about kind of just your story, man, from starting from Miramonte High School. Uh, Talk about your recruiting experience, and then ultimately what led you here today.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly. Miramonte High School.
Bring in that.
By no means a big recruit. Actually missed my whole junior year. Um, played senior year, but like I said, wasn't a big recruit at all. Some Division 2, Division 3 offers. Decided to actually walked on for like a semester at San Diego State, and then went to Diablo Valley College, right there in the Bay Area where we're from,
Mhm.
and ended up playing 1 year there. Transferred to University of Buffalo with Coach Leipold and those guys out there, and definitely didn't know what I was getting into out there with the weather and everything like that. But everything worked out. Was great out there. Loved the team. Loved the coaching staff. Was there for about 3.5 years, and then played a little bit there, and then ended up getting injured, and kind of could see the writing on the wall my junior season, and so ended up transferring for my last year. No portal at the time, so I was like,
Really, dude.
Twitter DMing every coach I
Yeah.
could find that I'm a grad transfer, and ended up at Murray State actually with the guy Coach Hamilton who coached at Concord High School for a long time. That was the random connection there because I obviously had never didn't know anything about Murray,
You
Kentucky,
guys were
Murray
just in
State.
the same area, huh? You just heard about each other?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so he knew the coaches at DVC that I played for at junior college, and so it's kinda just a random deal, and so packed up everything in my truck, drove out there, and, played 1 year there at Murray State, and then had an opportunity, was a undrafted free agent with the Cardinals, was there in 19 and 20, mostly on the practice squad, activated a couple times, then was released there in Arizona, little bit of what was then the USFL for a real
Okay.
short time. Went
What was that
to
team you were playing for? This is the purple
It
team,
was the team in Houston.
right?
The head coach was a guy named Kevin Gilbride, who was like the coordinator for the Giants for those Super Bowl,
Okay.
over the Patriots. So that was cool. We'd be installing stuff, watching, Victor Cruz and Eli Manning and Plaxico Burress, those guys. So great experience. He actually lives here in Rhode Island. I actually saw him
Same.
random, but I saw him at the airport
Yeah.
in Providence here not too long ago. But was there, did that for a short time, and then went up to Canada, in Edmonton for not even a full season there. Ended up injuring my shoulder, and that's when I was backing up there. I'm like the third string quarterback. It's cold. I'm like, man,
Tough to
our
get
team was
exposure.
terrible. Our team was terrible. I think we got like a CFL record for consecutive home losses or something like that. So I went home and was doing some rehab stuff, kind of with the thought that I would, try and play again and get back in go back up there in the CFL. And, just to be honest with you, kind of to keep myself busy, I really never, the whole time I was playing, whether it was college or after school, um, I never really thought I would get into coaching. I was a business major. I thought I would do something with that. And pretty short-sighted of me, obviously. I didn't think a ton about it when I'm playing. It's like, so, you're so consumed by it. I was thinking about that and trying to make teams and be a starter and do all those things. And so I really didn't give that much thought. And then, was home rehabbing, wanted to keep myself busy. So I asked Coach Dar at DVC if they needed any help over there. So I started just kind of helping out with the quarterbacks, and the offensive coordinator had to leave kind of abruptly, and he asked me if I wanted to do that, and so it's like, sure, just kind of roll with it, and I kind of just fell right into that, started doing that, and really liked it. I was actually starting to do the LinkedIn thing and look at some different tech jobs and real estate jobs, and while I'm doing that, I'm like, man, I don't know if this is for me. Like I can't really see myself doing this long term for a career. And so, the coaching thing, to be honest, was something I really just fell into. It wasn't something that I thought I would do. Certainly while I was playing or whatever, but got just kind of like I said, fell into it. Got lucky there at DVC and loved it, and then decided give this thing a shot. And so was there for about a year and a half. Had an awesome team there. Loved working for Coach Starr. He was great. Had a
Yeah,
great
he's
team.
out in
So
Texas now, isn't he?
yeah, he's coaching high school football out in Texas, and yeah, so I was there for, like I said, a year and a half, and an old teammate of mine was actually the running back coach here at Bryant, who left. We never even crossed over. He left before I even got here, but he let me know the quarterback position was open and asked if I wanted to interview. Interviewed, ended up getting offered the job here, and so now back out here in the Northeast,
Yeah,
and so everybody would ask me like, "Oh, where do you want to coach?" As if I had some kind of choice in that,
yeah,
but I'd
yeah.
be like, maybe in the West Coast, maybe in the South somewhere, and then
Maybe on the beach,
as fate would
Yeah.
have it, I'm back up in the Northeast. So it's been great though. It's been awesome up here so far. So
Dude,
no
I
complaints.
remember it was probably like 2 or 3 summers ago when I was at Northwestern. I think you had just became the OC at DVC, and I came down there, bro. We're like, F it, let's go talk some ball, whatever. You guys had the mobile unit right next to the freaking football field. Went
Yep.
hung out there for like 2 hours, dude. That was awesome,
Yep.
bro. Good memories, dog. All right, man.
Learned
So
a lot. You learn a lot coaching JC
yeah,
football. You got to get resourceful.
yeah.
So
What I guess so. I know you had some time with the Cardinals. What was it like to play for? Because Kingsbury was your OC at that time, right? Quarterback coach.
he was the head coach. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
He coached the quarterbacks too as well.
the
So
whole nine. So, what was it like to play for him and then being in that quarterback room? At the highest level. What is that like?
yeah, it was awesome. I mean, I learned so much, and not just Coach Kingsbury, who I have a ton of respect
Yeah,
for, obviously, but the guy who was the quarterback coach was a guy named Tom Clements, who was um, a long, long, long time NFL quarterback coach. Gets a lot of credit for he was the quarterback coach in Green Bay for a long time when Aaron Rodgers was a rookie and first, I don't know, 7, 8 years in the league, and has got a lot of credit for developing him. Cam Turner was a guy who was the assistant quarterback coach, who's now the Colts quarterback coach, and so being in there it was awesome. The Kyler obviously was in there as well, and Brett Hundley, who was awesome. So just tried to soak up as much as I could, you know what I mean? And I've been fortunate to be around a lot of awesome coaches. The guys at Buffalo were great. That's now the staff at Kansas.
it was
And
Zabrowski was your guy, right?
yeah, Coach Dabrowski, he was the quarterback coach at Buffalo when I played there. And, Coach Kotelnicki was the offensive coordinator who's now Penn State. And so it was great. I think, like I said, been fortunate to be around a lot of really good coaches and soak up everything you can. Coach Kingsbury specifically, I think the one thing I thought he was so obviously a really creative offensive mind, but like such a good feel for the quarterback position, and such a good understanding, I think, of like what fits the quarterback, what he feels comfortable with, what he's confident in. I thought that's kind of, to me, like I said, obviously like a creative offensive mind, but that's what I thought he was so good at.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's awesome, man. So I guess if he's feeling you out, when you're getting your reps, whatever, like, man, give me 4 verts, let's go. You know what I mean? What were you asking for, man?
Yeah, well, I was, most of my reps, unfortunately, came on the VR headset in like, my room after practice. The live ones were hard to come by. Those
Yeah,
was, day one install. It's funny, I was activated for a game at the end of my rookie season. The very last game of the year was actually the last game in the LA Coliseum. And Kyler had like a hamstring injury that he was dealing with. And so he had, obviously I'm the third guy. I'm dressing, very, very little chance I'm going to go in the game, but had like a separate call sheet for me
yeah.
that was
Just
probably about a quarter of the size of the real call sheet
for sure.
that was like day one camp install stuff that it's like, all right, if you got to go in,
Yeah,
this is what we're calling. So, it was like when I first got there, it was obviously like, Kingsbury, it was his first year there. And so we kind of coming in at the same time. And it was, when we first started OTAs and installing stuff, and at the beginning of camp, it was very like air raid stuff. I imagine pretty similar to what he'd done at Texas A&M, Texas Tech, and just kind of over the course of that year, like the offense changed a ton. And I think, figuring out what of this stuff will carry over that we can still do at this level, and what stuff we had to kind of do away with, and started adding a lot of different things. And so, it adapted a lot. But then, like I said, my call sheet for the last game was back to the day one stuff, just in case I had to go in there. But didn't happen. Didn't happen. Just played with the tablet all game.
That's awesome, man. At least you got that experience. A lot of people would, would die for that, man. And I'm really happy for you that you get to be able to do that, man. Obviously, having the quarterbacks at Bryant now, what is your coaching philosophy with them and the culture that you try to implement with those guys?
Yeah, I think you know, philosophy. I mean, one thing that probably the biggest thing in Coach Dabrowski, who was at Buffalo, was maybe my favorite quarterback coach was all of all time, was awesome. Thought he was, thinks so highly of him as a quarterback coach. I think the biggest thing that I try to take from him, and that he did when I was playing for him, was like he was so good at instilling confidence in you, and whether it was right or wrong, or true or not, he had us feeling like we're the best quarterback room in the country, and you're the best quarterback in the country. You know what I mean? And he's like, really positive, ton of energy, all those things. And that's definitely something, um, you know, uh, he's probably a more naturally positive guy than me. Sometimes I get a little bit too negative. I tell him, like, yeah, if I get too negative, guys, tell me I'm being a dick.
Yeah,
But that's something I really try and do, because I thought, like, it was something, like I said, whether it's right or wrong, I think at this position, like, it's kind of, you have to have that mentality, right? Like, every time I go out there, I'm the best dude on the field, and I've been on a lot of fields where I was not even close to the best dude on the field, but that's kind of the way you got to view it. And I think, beyond that, just trying to kind of simplify things, and really helping those guys understand, like, there's so much going on at this position, right? Like, you come to the line of scrimmage, and I'm thinking about my play call. I got shifts and motions, and I'm trying to, scan the back end and ID coverage and see the front. Do I have any possible pressure? I'm thinking about my read, right? All these different things. Um, but at the end of the day, it's about, completing balls. And that's what I tell the guys here is, like, if you know where to go with it, you're on time and you're accurate, you'll put us in a good position, you know what I mean, and give the offense a chance. And so, that's a big part of it too, is trying to simplify things for those guys. And, culture wise, I think just really trying to create a positive, high energy culture where it's competitive, but at the same time, we understand, like, we're all pushing in the same direction, you know what I mean? And supporting each other. And, for lack of a better term, it's the one thing I see with a lot of guys is like the comparison, especially the younger guys constantly comparing to the other guy in the room. And I try and tell them, like, again, I should think of a better term, but what I eat doesn't make you shit. You know what I mean? If I throw an interception or I throw a touchdown, it doesn't make the guy next to me any better or worse.
yeah.
Right. And so it's like trying to focus on your own development. You know what I mean? It's hard enough. And if you're focused on the wrong stuff, I'm focused on what he's doing, it's even harder. And so
That's
again,
hard, man.
it's
That's hard.
competitive, but it's at the same time, it's like understanding we're all pushing the same direction.
Oh, speaking on that confidence key, man, when you got, legit probably three, four guys going for that starting role, they have to make sure that, they're crossing their T's and dotting their I's before they can even look at anybody else, right?
For
Um,
sure.
and keeping them in that mental space of, like, just get 1% better by, like, for you every day, right? You doing that is going to make this room so much better. You just keep chipping away, doing everything that you can to be the best quarterback you can. And then making sure all those guys prepare the same, right? I mean, if you're the sixth string guy, you got to prepare like the starter, man. Like,
Yep.
when I was at Northwestern, we had, I mean, our fourth string guy was rolling. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Just 'cause stuff can change like that. But yeah, speaking of the confidence key, I definitely agree, bro. Like, that is the most important thing at that position.
Yep.
Make sure they can lead men, right? You want a
No
guy who
doubt.
can take the bull by the horns, and let's go roll, man. Okay, cool. So as far as like when you're looking for a quarterback on tape, what are some things you look for when it comes to recruiting? If you really like this kid.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing's always going to be accuracy. And in the simplest terms, can he put the ball in the place where he wants to put it? You
Yeah,
know
yeah,
what I mean? And it's like, we do look at the stats more than I think probably a lot of places do, in the simple, like in my mind, if a dude can't complete 60% at the high school level, it's only going to get harder, right? And it's like you don't want to put everyone in a box and just say, okay, I'll never recruit a guy with a lower completion percentage than that. Because of course there's different reasons. It could be the offense, it could be his supporting cast is not so great. But it is, in my opinion, at least a way to weed out some guys. Obviously, right? Like it's not easy recruiting. There's a million guys, um, and you're trying to find the best one for your spot. You know what I mean? And so I always try and get game film on guys. Get 3 to 4 games once we're getting more serious about a guy and watch it and try and get some context with it. Like I said, the accuracy is always the biggest thing. Obviously physically you want to make sure it's a guy that can compete at that level, right? Because there's a lot of guys who can be a really good high school player, but it's like, will it translate, right? Like, is he big enough, strong enough, fast enough? Just is he a Division 1 athlete on the simplest terms? Um, and I think like there's a level of kind of playmaking and instinct and feel at the position um, that I want to see, and that's really been outside of accuracy to me. That's maybe the biggest thing, and that's something that definitely doesn't always come through. Like just on a highlight tape, you can see some things, but where I want to get the game film. But I think there's a certain level of stuff that we can teach a guy, right? Like we'll help him learn defense. We'll help him understand where to go with the ball and these types of things. But then there's a level of stuff at the quarterback position that I can't teach you. You know what I mean? A level of kind of feel instinct of playmaking when it breaks down, breaking the pocket, keeping your eyes downfield, the off schedule stuff. That's a big thing I look for. You know what I mean? Because again, that's something
it factor.
realistically I'm not probably going to be able to teach you. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? And that's kind of just in terms of how I view it. Like if we can get the on schedule stuff down, right, and we can do the easy stuff, and then you add in the play call is not perfect, protection breaks down, and we still got a shot, and the guy can, play make a little bit. That's when, in my opinion, it becomes really hard to stop. So that's a big piece of what I look at as well.
cool, calm, and collected. And then, like you said, man, too. Um, I mean, just being freaking able to make a play when something breaks down, right?
No
And
doubt.
decision making ability too. I mean, especially with the transfer portal nowadays, like you can go grab a kid who has 2 years of experience, right? I can grab him and say, okay, he threw this amount of picks or whatever. Um, I'll be able to work with that, and
Yep.
he's making good decisions, play in and play out. Okay, cool. We'll take this kid. Let's develop him a little bit. Here we go. You roll him out. He's their starter for the
Yep.
next. Like that's just the game that we play nowadays, right?
And yeah, and that, I mean, you mentioned the portal. That's what makes it tough too, is because it's like, and it sucks for the high school kid, but it's like you're kind of a little bit less inclined to, unless we feel like really good about a guy,
Yeah,
you're not really going to reach for anyone anymore because at the end of the season, there's going to be 500 dudes in there who we
mhm,
couldn't have been able to get out of high school.
yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? And so it's like, and you see it all across college football, just kind of smaller high school classes because you kind of know, unless again you feel really good about a guy, there's
yeah,
going to be a million other dudes in there
yeah.
after the season, a lot of which probably wouldn't have come to Bryant out of high school. You know what I mean? So
I think you could argue though for those younger, or I guess those like those D2, those D3 level schools, like high school, they can make it killing right now
for sure.
because all these kids are in the transfer portal. They're going D1, D1, D2 to D1. Everybody's coming in, whatever. But I can get my hands on a good high school player. He can come in for my program right now, right at a D2 school. Now it's like the new JUCO. Or
For
okay,
sure.
cool, ball out here. You play D2 a couple years, boom, I can get you to Baylor, whatever it is, right? That's just it's the game. That's the way game is right
Sure.
now. It's
So
insane.
all kind of pushed down. I think like everybody's taking smaller classes. So everything, there's guys that are D2 guys that probably used to be FCS guys. There's guys that FCS guys that probably used to be group of five guys and
Yeah,
so on and so forth.
it's bad. Oh man, I know you got some everyday drills for us, quarterback wise. So you wanna get into that?
Absolutely. Let me share my
Yeah, it's
screen
green,
here.
man. Take
Let
that
me know
thing.
if this works.
Yeah, we should be good.
Mm, can you see that?
Yep, you're good. Oh yeah, excellent.
Um, so I gotta do a better job this year of getting all my stuff filmed. Um, our warm up pretty straightforward. I don't have that on here. Start them, squared up with the guy, just really focusing on rotating, punching it out, staying on top of the football. We'll do some wrong way throws. Back them up a little bit. One crossover, no hitch. One crossover, crossover hitch. Um, Pretty straightforward with that. The one that I wish I had on here that I'll get this year is we just call like drop on a line, but you just have all the quarterbacks, half of them on the sideline there on a yard line somewhere, and the other half with the ball probably about 10, 15 yards out in the field and just taking a drop. The guy on the sideline will kind of move with them, and then on the clap, sticking a foot in the ground as soon as you hear the clap, getting that back foot down, sticking
Ball
it,
out.
transferring the weight, and throwing. We'll do that, and we'll do traditional kind of crossover drop and then just have them shuffle for, we'll do some of that kind of just punch gather or kind of a punch shuffle drop, I call it. And so we do that as well. But that's really our warm up for the most part. But some of these, this is a drill here. I'll pull this one up. The ladder, we do this as a warm up as well. You can see my screen, right?
Yep, all good, man. Gotcha.
So get the ladder here. We'll start him at the end. This thing starts a little bit quick, but he's really just getting that front foot in and out of the ladder. Um, on a clap, I just want a quick kind of retreat there and then get the ball out. And it's really just something to get the feet going, but I really want him to kind of work that rhythm as well. And really, with a lot of the indie stuff that I do, the main essence of so much of it is making them throw it from a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit on, kind of compromised positions.
Mhm.
And I think so many guys are really good at, not really good at, but all they do is go out and throw outs on air and they take a 3-step drop and they hitch up perfectly and they throw the ball, and not that many guys are good at no hitch throws. You know what I mean? And just sticking that back foot and throwing the ball. And so that's really all these drills is kind of a common theme that I'm trying to have them do. In my opinion, they'll get enough reps. Like I said, taking a nice 3-step drop, hitching up into the pocket and throwing it. So when we're doing indie stuff, I want them to be, like I said, in a little bit more uncomfortable positions, a little bit more uncompromised positions and working like that no hitch timing type throws. And so there you see it with, the front foot in and out,
Mhm.
one kind of shuffle, and then we'll get him in front of it, one hitch up, ball
That
there.
that ball's coming out in the clap.
Yeah, yeah. So on the clap, he'll go through the ladder kind of as long as I want him to, and then on the clap, it's kind of one slide up in the pocket there,
Love it.
um, and then get the ball out. I don't know if we got film. The last one would just be kind of an icky shuffle through the ladder, and then when he gets to the end, give him kind of an inside move or a high move. Um, so that's the ladder there. That's one that we do as a warm up. Really, this is probably the one in terms of what I have filmed on here is all these rush sim ones.
Mhm.
So I'll pull these up really quick. This is like the most simple drill ever, but I think I got these pulled up already. Um, you know,
Ooh.
super applicable. And
Mhm.
honestly, like I'm really just trying to drill this stimulus and this movement into their brains. And so, like, you see it here, I'll get the snap, he'll take a drop. I want him to still take a 3-step drop, take a full drop, get to the top of it, and then I'm just going to give him a high rush. Or I'm going to do like an inside move and have him retreat. So I'm sure we'll see one of those in a second.
Yeah.
focusing on obviously keeping the eyes up. I want them to get off their spot a little bit, not just hitch up to play the drill and move an inch. I want them to really get off their spot. So again, here's a high rush, climb. Hopefully we'll get, there's the inside move. Again, this doesn't happen a ton in a game, right? Where a guy's going to like kind of shuffle back or do that retreat move and then throw it. But it's, again, gets back to, it's obviously kind of a tough position to throw it from, where I want him to be one move, boom, and the ball's out when the back foot hits.
Yeah. Having that sense
and still working that move. And so I want it to be quick, like, either one climb or one retreat and the ball's out. Again, kind of sticking that back foot, driving off that back foot, transferring the weight, finishing on balance. And obviously this is something that's super applicable, right? I mean, this is just kind of something I want to create some muscle memory with. Obviously you're going to get this look a ton of times in a game when the defensive end on an inside move, or he kind of runs the hoop on a high rush like that. So let's see. I think on some of these, I got some clips after of that kind of showing up in the game. So here's that high rush. Yeah. And again, I just want this stuff and these pocket movements to just become second nature. I mean, we do this drill. I don't know, it's quite every day, but it's pretty damn close.
Yeah.
To being something we do every day. So here's one where you do see like a little bit of the retreat. I do like
check down, take it.
This is a great rep. This is one thing with this guy we worked really, really hard on, was not there, throwing it underneath, taking the check, taking what they give you. We got so much better at that, and I think it helped the offense a lot. But the one thing I like here, I don't like the dead feet at the top of the drop where he's like stuck in cement. I tried really not to have guys doing that. The thing I do like, that I teach is he hits the top of the drop and he just sticks it right there. I think so many times you see guys, they go 1, 2, 3, they hit the top,
and it's
big crow hop, big hitch up into the pocket.
Yeah.
Well, if there's nobody there, then just stay right there. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then if I get a high rush, I move up, I get some type of interior pressure like, we got here, then I just stay on my spot or I move back. And so that's what I like about that rep there. He hits the top of it, he's clean, he just stays right there. Yeah. Too many guys kind of force it and break the pocket early or hitch up into pressure sometimes.
Yeah.
So that's the climb. Here's the lateral. Same type of thing. Now I'm going to give him an interior pressure. And again, it's just one quick move, right or left.
And you teach the back step. If you're stepping up or stepping back, you teach the back step, or do you care how they move?
What do you mean?
Like, so if I got pressure coming this way and I want to take a step, I want to either slide up or slide back. Are you teaching them to step with that back foot first, or do you not care?
Yeah. So I know that's a big thing. To me, it's kind of whatever you're comfortable with. I never really quite understood, like, it's got to be, what do people say, like the back foot or something first. I think especially like a right-handed guy, if you're moving like forward, it's kind of awkward to use your back foot, in my opinion. And a lot of this stuff, like, I'm not super, super technical with it. What's important to me is that his eyes are up, is that he's getting off of his spot a little bit, right? He's not like trying to play the drill and just move an inch, really getting off your spot. And getting the ball out quickly. Like, that's the biggest thing, is these reps, it should be, one move either way, and then the ball's out. I want him, as soon as he gets off his spot and that back foot hits, I want the ball to be out.
Yeah.
So again, here's some clips. I can't even remember when I did this, but hopefully it's so there you go. There's the interior pressure. Boom, quick move to his right. Ball's out, throws the check again. Good job, QB.
Yeah, that's it.
So that's, that stuff showing up in the game. There's the inside move from the end. Quick move. Good job. That's the biggest thing. And getting that reaction where it breaks down or the read's cloudy and boom, my reaction's checked out. It's not run out of there like a crazy person, like it's high school football, right? It breaks down.
Yeah.
get some pressure, boom, it's to the check down. And that's the first reaction where so many guys, first reaction is run out of there. And, there's times, of course, I need to do that. But there's also a lot of times I don't. Here it is again, just kind of a quick move there.
That's the maturity, man. Checking that thing
The
down.
left, yeah, exactly. Just, keeping ahead of the chains. And, you watch like the good NFL quarterbacks, it's a lot of that. I try and watch it with the quarterbacks. And one thing, we're watching a guy and you realize you're in like the middle of the second quarter and he hasn't thrown it past 15 yards down the field. Like
Yeah.
that's the game,
Yeah. And he's 70% completion percentage, right?
Exactly.
Guys 10
Exactly.
15, letting the
That's what it's all about.
back spin.
Completing balls. So here's the last one we'll do on this. This is again an interior rush, and we call this like an angle climb, but you see this one show up so much where you're kind of in that spot where, again, you're kind of at a 45-degree angle, but you're running like downhill at the line of scrimmage. And you see that, happen so much in a game. And you played the position, the spot where like you're running at the line of scrimmage and I'm scanning really quick and I got to make like that split second decision. Is something there, rip it. If not, tuck it and turn it into a ball carrier. So that's kind of, I think it'll show up here. That's kind of the one, mix up I have with this drill is here's this angle climb, right? Avoid attacking the line of scrimmage. And then we'll have, these guys catching here, either flash their hands or they won't flash their hands. They don't flash it, tuck it and go.
Yeah.
So that's what they're doing here.
Love it.
Guy doesn't flash the hands. I could do without the little fake. Nice little juke there. But that's what's going on here. So that's kind of the one mix up we do with this drill. And again, it's like, it's so simple, but it's really applicable. And I'm just trying to create some muscle memory with these movements. And you see it show up so much. And honestly, like a lot of the drills we do, aside from just kind of like mechanic stuff and footwork stuff, it's like, a lot of it, you watch a game and try and figure out the different, kind of situations they get in and replicate that with the drill work. So like if it's not something that is ever going to happen in a game, then, I don't want to waste the time working it. Like, so this is, obviously the exact kind of thing I'm talking about. There's kind of that angle climb, eyes downfield. It's there. Great. There it is again. And again, you see this so much. Good job with the eyes downfield. There's the same thing, and this is kind of the spot, right, where like you're running downhill right here. And it's a quick scan. If it's there, great. If not, tuck it and go. But almost got there.
Your boy was good at that.
Yeah, that's the one thing with this guy. Like he was really good at the broken play stuff. And once we kind of paired that up with just taking the on schedule stuff, taking the easy stuff and getting really good at, like I talk about, like the layups, you know what I mean? Like the flat throws, the hitches, the check downs, the shallows. We got to hit the layups at a really high rate. And once we started doing that and making the easy on schedule plays, like he was really good at this stuff, at the broken play stuff, the off script stuff. And so once you pair those things together, like it's really hard to stop. The game was a big thunderstorm.
That's awesome.
That end zone footage there. But so that's the rush sim ones is just giving all those different. The other one would be, at the defensive end, an inside move or a high move and having to break the pocket, right? Like over the top of the tackle or kind of ripping through underneath the tackle. Really the rest of the everyday stuff. This is the last drill I'll show here. This is not probably an everyday one, but one that I like.
Yeah.
Because it kind of implements a couple different things. This is, I just call it KOC. I stole it from Kevin O'Connell. I liked it. We filmed this one from the moon, it looks like, but that's okay. But the quarterback is down on the right there in the end zone, but he's going to take a 5-step drop. We don't really do that, but I like having them work that anyways, just, as some footwork, as some rhythm stuff. but he's just going to shuffle through, obviously, keeping a good base, feet under hips, keeping his eyes up, two hands on the ball. I'm going to clap at some point, and I try and set up this one
Layer
where
right there.
he's making some type of like two ball
Yeah.
throw.
Yeah.
So here he's throwing, like looks like a dig or a seam or something. So he'll throw kind of two balls, and then I'll give him a direction here. So here I gave him kind of, low to the right. So he's going to rip through and then throwing on the run. And so here he's again shuffling through, and I'll try and clap or give him that, call for the ball when they're in either they're kind of shuffling back or they're shuffling side to side and they're in a little bit of a compromised position. So here he's like, he's moving back,
You're
got to stick it.
still emphasizing the same thing, right? When you clap, let's get that back foot in the ground, let's let it rip.
Yeah, exactly. That's what all of it is like. I want it to be, quick as we can, getting cleats in the ground, getting that back foot in the ground and getting the ball out. So there's another kind of low escape, ripping through, coming out of it. So there's two ball, just again, kind of making that clap when he's not always in the best position to throw it.
But he's got
And then on that third one, give him the direction. So here's the kind of the high escape now. He's spinning out over the top of the bags and throwing on the run. So, obviously need some setup for that one. But a drill I like to do, like I said, kind of implements a couple different things. And so I'll do a better job next time I come on here with get more of my indie film this year ready to go.
Man, you got time for that. Take all that springtime to go do that, man.
Yeah, I know. That's what I needed. Our film guy just left, so
Oh yeah, so you were trying to make it happen yourself then.
Yeah, I like to, just have it ready. So
Yeah. No, dude, I love it. I think everything you got is, I mean, it just translates to where the game is today. I mean, talked about it when you're looking for a quarterback. You need a guy who has the it factor. They got to be able to extend plays. They got to be able to make plays downfield. They got to be able to work the pocket, but not overwork it. Know when to get out. Know when to sit in it. And that's why it's the hardest position in sports, man.
for sure. And even though I love this style of quarterback, like the Peyton Mannings, the Tom Brady's, the Philip Rivers, the Joe Flacco's, like those guys there's not as many of them now. You know what I mean? It's all the young guys coming in, the Caleb Williams, the Kyler Murrays, the Jaden Daniels, like, the Justin Herberts, they're athletes. Like they've been doing that since high school. And I think the high school offenses now are all spread and opened up. And so it kind of creates that. But yeah, I think it's definitely like something you look for now is just a level of athleticism,
Awesome, bro. Well, dude, I really appreciate you coming on. Next time, bro, you gotta come on here and you gotta drop a gem of a concept or something.
Absolutely. We'll
like
get
that.
some. We'll get it all filmed this season. Hopefully, we got lots of good teach tape clips after this season.
Man, I know you're gonna have those quarterbacks right, man. And like you said, just from looking at the drills and stuff, I know those boys are gonna be trained to go. So,
I'll try my best.
yeah, for sure, man. Well, I appreciate it, brother. Well, hopefully get on. Hopefully we talk here in a couple months, man. Y'all are going to kill it.
Yes, sir.
All right, man.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Absolutely.
your time, brother. We'll talk to you soon, man.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, Josh.
All right, let's go.